Hello. Um, Today is January the 9th, 1995. Wait, no. No, today is actually the year is 2020. So let me say that again. Today is January the 9th, 19 shit. Okay. The year is 2020 and the date is January the 9th. Now, the reason I've been saying that the year so wrongly so many times, it's not because I'm so stupid, but I wouldn't claim I'm so smart either. It's because today's actually my birthday. The year I was born was 1995, so I've been saying January the 9th, 1995 a lot recently, actually, because I've been calling the billing department of the hospital a lot, and every time they're saying, "Oh, could you please confirm or, just reinforce?" No, what did it say? Yeah, I think it's confirm. Could you please confirm your date of birth, please? I was like, okay, sure, January the 9th, 1995, and I've been saying it so much, so it kind of became a phrase to me. So whenever I'm speaking something like January the 9th, I automatically followed by 1995. So that is explained. Again, today's date is actually January the 9th, 2020. Okay. I feel like I'm spending too much time explaining the date. It sounds like a conspiracy theory. Like it's actually 1995, and I'm tricking you into thinking that it's 2020. Because, there are cameras 25 years ago, so you have no idea exactly when this video was recorded. So, in case you're thinking that, allow me to prove today is actually the year 2020. How do I do that? I don't really have a newspaper. I don't really read newspapers. And okay. So to prove this year is actually 2020 instead of 1995, let me tell you something that is only a well-known truth in 2020. So the current president of the United States is Donald J. Trump. There. I mean, it's pretty hard to predict that even in the year of 2015, let alone 1995, because nobody thought it's going to win. Okay, so we've straightened that out, I hope. Usually it doesn't really take me this long to explain what date it is, but it's a special videos actually. Okay, so I hope nobody's watching this. That is, if I actually uploaded this on YouTube. The reason I don't want anybody to watch this is because it's embarrassing. Well, the reason I'm doing this is kind of treating this as a time capsule for myself. I would like to see videos like this I uploaded in the future. And actually, in the first place, I've been wanting to write journals or diaries to kind of do a little recording of my life, and it doesn't work out because who the hell writes diaries these days? Nobody does that. And then I decided to write things on the blog. I've done that for a few pieces. Nobody read them. I got too tired of them, so I stopped doing that. So blogs doesn't work either. Then I realized the easiest way is for me to talk to my phone for 10-20 minutes whenever I feel like the need of talking or recording something. So I've been doing that. I have a lot of videos of this, me talking to my cell phone on my phone, and hopefully I can save them for the future when I'm 80 or something. I wanted to see what was I thinking when I was in my 20s. So I have some kind of recordings. Then it hits me because you can lose your phone any day, and you can't really count on the iCloud, because actually Apple offers to save everything you have on the cloud service, but I mean, it has been reminding me to pay money to upgrade my iCloud storage space for years now. I never do that. I don't have the money, nor do I care to pay Apple even more money. So that's not reliable. And if my phone's lost or it could malfunction, because I think a lot of the hard drives like from 10 years ago are probably cooked. We want to reach anything from it. It's not reliable. So it hits me. Why don't I just use YouTube as a storage place to record my videos, my journal videos, diary videos, whatever you want to call it. And I think YouTube's gonna last a very long time. Probably longer than my life. Even if I don't know. I mean, I'm 25 years old now. Today's actually my 25th birthday, as I explained before. So let's say I live until I'm 75, which is like, the average of men's lifespan in today's technology and medical conditions. That is, if I'm lucky enough to not die out of some accident like plane crash or car accidents or medical malpractice, whatever. So 50 years from now, who knows what's going to happen? Like 50 years before, like 50 years ago, what was that? 50 years ago was 1970. What was happening in 1970s? I'm really bad at history. Okay, there was no smartphone. There was even no, the prediction of smartphones' existence. People are still using phones like yay big, right? So, I don't know. My point is, there's no way of telling what's going to happen in 50 years. But even if YouTube is no longer existing anymore, I think the videos are somehow going to be transferred into whatever next internet service website there is to replace YouTube, because people have the need to go online and watch random videos, and people have the need to store them like what I'm doing here. So I don't know. So like I said, I hope nobody's watching this. This is for me and me alone. It's like a time capsule of it would be funny to watch myself in 50 years. Just something to, because I have nothing. Like, it's not like there will be documentaries of me in the future. I'm not anybody important, so I have to do this for myself. Okay, so now we've straightened that out. Let's talk about just random things. Let's start by saying I'll talk whatever I think of at the time. So let's start by today. What I did today. It's my birthday. So I got up at 11 maybe. Took a shower, put on clothes, and go out. And by the way, I work in the lab. I live in New York City. This is actually my apartment. Well, it's not really an apartment. It's my bedroom, and I share this apartment with 4 other people in a 4-bedroom apartment. So you can imagine someone lives in the living room, which is what everybody does in New York City because it's so fucking expensive here, the rent. I work in a lab. I'm a grad student, a 4th-year grad student as of this moment. Oh, it occurs to me. So I'm 25. So yesterday I was still 24. So yesterday or before that, I can tell people I'm 24 and I'm a 4th-year grad student, and they'll be like, "Oh, really? That's really young. I mean, you must have graduated college in like 20 or something." I was like, "No. I go to school early for a year and then I skipped 6th grade, which is what everybody does and where I go to school. So it's really not that impressive." They're like, "Okay," but I feel really good. Like, you don't really have anything to brag except, like, I don't have anything to brag except for the fact that I'm younger than most of my same year friends, in grad school. Where was I? Oh, okay. So I work in a lab in New York City, New York University, actually. in the chemistry department, and my boss is Ned Seaman. He's a pretty remarkable scientist, old fart actually, but remarkable scientist. So I actually like him, probably because I'm a young fart too, young fart not too. Anyway, I walked into the lab and I saw him opening his office because we have different office places, but it's in the same lab area, structural DNA nanotech lab or whatever. So I was like, hey, you're here early, because he usually shows up in the afternoon, and I believe the time was, I later checked, 12:30. So I was like, hey, you're early today? And I was like, no, not really. I always come here at this time. I was like, okay. And then I said, have you had lunch yet? He was like, no, I don't eat lunch. Like, I feel like whenever you ask him, he's always gonna be able to find something else to say. Like, he could have just said no or yes. Those are simpler answers. But he has to say, no, I don't eat lunch. Now you have to ask. Like, you have to ask the follow-up question. Otherwise, it feels like you're just a jerk of, I said I don't ever eat lunch. Why don't you just ask me why? Like, so I said, well, why don't you eat lunch? He's like, no, I work too hard, and then I'm too busy of thinking of eating lunch, and I just go buy some snacks whenever I'm feeling hungry. Okay, that's utterly nonsense, because first of all, you work in the afternoon. You don't get up in the morning and work. So before you work in the afternoon, why don't you just go to lunch, right? I don't know. I feel like, so anyway, so I said hi to my boss, and then I went to the lab, put my book down. Oh, it's this book actually. It's this book. Oh, by the way, I'm from China, so I don't read English when I'm not absolutely fucking have to. Like, the literatures I have to read in order to figure out what I'm going to do for my projects. Oh, speaking of this book, actually I found a pretty good quote here today. I'll read it to you. It's a really good quote. Okay, here. It's written in Chinese. Let me read the original first. So it says, 山不能为大将别生其木，天意不能为贤主更生一人. So it's pretty much saying, okay, I'm gonna translate this like literally, because I'm really bad at translating stuff, especially like Asian Chinese literatures. It says, the mountain cannot grow a remarkable wood for 大将, for the workmen. Like, okay, the mountain cannot grow a remarkable wood for the woodworkers. Okay, the woodworkers is probably a good translation. And then the heaven cannot, okay, no, it's not really the heaven. Like, the heaven in China is pretty much the equivalent of God in the Western world. So God also cannot make a remarkable man for a good lord. 贤主, how do you, like, good master, good lord, good king, someone who uses people, not uses people, like employs, you know what it means, like, okay, it's pretty much saying, like, when you're a woodworker, when you want to make something out of wood, you don't expect the mountain to grow a specifically remarkable wood for you. You have to find the right one. And when you're someone who's employing people, like a lord, I'm sure there are better translations. I'm not good enough to think of that. And a lord cannot expect God to just give you or make you someone who's especially fitting for your job. You have to go find and identify people. It's like saying, everybody has his strengths and weaknesses. Nobody's absolutely better than others. Everybody has to find their own place in this world, and it's a good quote. I actually texted myself of the original thing, and just something to learn. I like good quotes. I like this book. Now I lost my book marker. Where is it? Probably here. Okay. Now, where was I? Oh, where was that? Okay, so I talked to my boss and then went to the lab, put down my book. I read my book on the subways because there's no internet there. Excuse me. So I then went to have lunch with my friends, two of them from other labs. They actually bought me lunch. Actually, why do I keep speaking actually so much? The restaurant was called. It's a Shanghai. Okay, one thing I hate myself is that when I'm speaking English, I try to I often using the English version of the word in Chinese, and like Shanghai actually just Shanghai, like how you guys say it if you're from America or something. So it's called 三顾茅庐. It's a good story. I don't have time to tell it. Maybe I do, but I don't want to tell it. It's like everybody knows the story. It's a pretty good restaurant. They have lunch specials, so pretty good. Enough. The amount of food is enough for me, not for one of my friends. He has to get a donut later. Okay, so we finished lunch. They bought me lunch, so thanks to them. Not a big thanks. I mean, it was like $15. Okay, so then we went back to the lab. I started working. I really don't have a lot of work to do these days. Like, I'm working on 3 projects. One of them is finished. I've read a summary and sent it to my boss, and he said he'll look into it when it has time. But who knows when that's gonna be. And the other one, I'm waiting for a model from one of my friends in the in upstairs 11th floor, the computational chemistry group. So he's in China right now. He's for vacation. So I don't have anything to do for that. So the only project I'm working on is the third one, which is some catalyst, self-assembled crystal catalyst thing. And I'm doing some kind of UV sensitive reaction where I only have to be in the lab for 2 hours a day, maybe. Just set up the experiment and then wait, and then when it's over, switch to the next temperature and then let it stabilize overnight. So I don't really have a lot of things to do. So I finished working around 4:30, maybe. Yeah, 4:30 sounds about right, because I also played a little Hearthstone while I was waiting, and it dragged a little bit. Then so it was 4:30. I got to the lab at 12:30 and then went to lunch. So by the time I started working, it was like 2 already. So I feel a little bad because I'm a grad student. Most grad students are like working their ass off, and I'm working like 2 hours a day. Like I work my ass off before. Like I have a bed in the lab, a foldable bed where I can sleep there when it's too late to go home, which often happens. So I wouldn't say I'm one of the lazy grad students, but these days I am. I'm working 2 hours a day. What do you think? So I feel bad at first, and then I said to myself, wait a second, today's my birthday, right? You only get one birthday a year. Okay, personally, I don't consider birthday as a big deal because I don't really consider crawling out of my mother's womb 25 years ago is something worth celebrating for. But actually, I didn't even climb. I didn't even crawl. I mean, my mother had a C-section, so I was like brought out. Like I didn't really do my part of the the birth job, so wasn't really anything of big deal. If anything, I should thank my mother for giving birth to me on this planet. I should probably call her. I'm a little tense these days. I'll tell you the story later. I should probably call her later. Okay, where was I? All right. I thought to myself, okay, today's my birthday, right? Like, I don't have to feel bad on my birthday. Most people don't really go to work. Well, they do. Anyway, I thought, okay, that's it. That's today's work. I'm gonna go do something else. Now, usually I just go straight home because I don't really have anything to do. Well, I have hobbies. I like to go to places and play, but I don't really have a lot of money. And everything fun costs money except for computer games, which I do play a lot. Okay, so today what I did actually was I went to the the box office of NYU and got 4 AMC tickets. They have, like movie tickets and discounts to sell to students. It's like $11 each, less than $11, 10 something. Because 10.75, I'm pretty sure, because 4 together is $43. And if you buy a adult film ticket in the theater, it's like $17, $18. So, well, actually, I know exactly how much it costs. If I still have the ticket, I do. Wait. Oh, no. I lost the. Okay, so there were 3 part. One of them shows how much it costs, but these 2 doesn't. I'm pretty sure it's like $17.99 or something. So you save like $8 if you buy from the NYU box office. So that's what I do. So I bought 4 tickets. I feel like, I maybe catch a movie tonight. So I Googled what movie there was on the theater near me, and there was a lot, but couldn't really remember most of them. So there was Star Wars, or Star Wars something. I forgot what exactly the Star Wars movie is. It's the current Star Wars year, in 2020, January 2020. And there's the other one called 1917. It's, the introduction says it's a World War I movie because there's a war, and the war going on at the time was World War I. That's what I figured. So maybe one of these 2. And then I went to the theater to get the ticket. Actually, first of all, I wanted to see the Star Wars movie because it's gonna be some kind of relaxing part of some kind of the kind of movie you wouldn't feel so bad or so frustrating after seeing, right? Like that's what I want on my birthday. Not really something frustrating, just something fun, something to some quality time to spend with myself. But then I figured, okay, so I remember. So the reason I ended up seeing the movie 1917, by the way, is because the ticket machine actually is showing the movie 1917. So I figured, I'll just go with that. Because I'm not really exactly the biggest Star Wars fan. I try to actually watch Star Wars movies, but it doesn't really, I know everybody here in America likes it, but I just don't. Maybe it's something you have to, you have to watch when you're growing up, and then it catches on you. So I ended up watching the movie 1917, but the movie was at 7 p.m. I had like 2 hours to kill, so I went to one of my favorite dessert place in Manhattan, which is pretty much the only dessert place I know. Wait, I know there are 2. Like they're both on St. Mark Street. One is called Spot. One is called Mango. And I went to the one that's called Spot because I still have the card. Okay, do I still have them? Give it to the waitress. It's like a card. If you go there like 10 times, 11th time is free. Not this one. This is glazed. They don't nobody's doing this anymore, but they still honor them if you have collected enough stamps. So I went there and got a free dessert and a drink. The drink is not free because I feel like it's bad. I feel bad if you don't order anything like out of your own pocket, if you just use a card. So I ordered a drink there. So I sat there for an hour and a half, maybe, eating my dessert, drink the drink, reading my book, and then waiting for the movie to start. It was that book I showed you before I was reading. And then I went to the movie theater, watched the film. The film was about, it's 1917. The people, like the main characters are British soldiers. It's a story about 2 soldiers carried a mission. The mission was to cross the enemy line to the other infantry division of British Army to tell them that what they're about to do, which is to attack the Germans the next morning, is a trap set by the Germans. So the orders the mission of those two soldiers was to tell the infantry to not attack. Okay, they have to go across all the battlefield, dead people. Oh my god, there's a lot of dead people, and there's really realistic. I remember there's a scene where one of the soldiers was dropped in a waterfall, and then there's a lot of dead people in the water, and their faces are like puffed up. Okay, it was really horrifying, but really realistic. So, so two soldiers, one of them died on the way. It was actually really, I wouldn't say ridiculous, but really shocking, because 3 planes were fighting on the sky. 2 of them are from British, the other one from Germany, and the Germany plane got shot down. So, it dropped and hit the ground, and the pilot was saved by those 2 British soldiers, and the German soldier actually pulled out a knife and then stabbed in one of the British soldiers and killed him. Like, right? They saved you, right? I guess it's the cruelty of war. It's either you or me. I don't know. Like, anyway, the other soldier carried the mission alone, and then going through a lot of trouble, and then life and death. He got shot by a German soldier, but miraculously didn't die. Miraculously, eventually he carried out the mission and stopped the attack before it happened. So actually, the first wave already happened. The movie is called 1917. I just wanted to describe it a little bit because that's what I'm gonna do. And then he finished the mission, stopped the casualty before it goes up too much, and actually found the dead soldiers, the one who got stabbed by the Germany pilot, his brother in the infantry, and told him the bad news. It was a pretty sad movie. It's it's movies like that makes you think, wow, war is really horrible. If there's a slight chance of peace, you should try to keep it, fight for it, instead of go to war, because millions of lives are gonna be lost, and it's not in a way where you got a cancer and die in a hospital. Not like that. It's much worse. Yeah, and then I finished the movie, headed home. On the way, I saw a burger place, which I've never been to before. So I went in because I was hungry. I didn't have dinner. I had some dessert, like I said, in the afternoon, but I got hungry after the movie was like 9:30 already. So I went in the burger place, have a burger. It's actually surprisingly good. It's better than McDonald's. That's what I told the burger place people. They're like really happy. And then I bought some fruits and went home. That was my day. Yep. So, okay. How long has this video been? Oh my god, 28 minutes? Boy, I can talk. Okay. What else to say? Because, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to watch this. There's like gazillions of videos on YouTube, and it's perfectly fine for me to use it as a storage place. I mean, even if someone clicks the video by accident after the first 1 minute or less, they're gonna close out. What the fuck is this guy talking about, right? So I've got myself covered. Oh, okay. There's something else I can talk about. So remember I said, I should really wash this cup because it's really like disgusting. Yeah, I mean. So remember I was talking about how my mother and I had a fight or something. It was actually because, so today is the 9th, January the 9th, and I believe on 2 days ago. Wait, the 6th, yeah. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, on the evening, on the mid of the evening of the 6th here in Eastern Time. Donald Trump ordered in my opinion, the assassination of the Iran general Soleimani. Sunamali. Wait a second. Sunamali, yeah. It doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, so he's an Iranian general. I don't know the full story of this, but Donald Trump claimed he's a terrorist, and then he was planning an attack on America. So he got the better of it. He killed him with drone strikes, no less. Obviously, that provoked. Okay, so first of all, he had what he called a reason to do this because the American contractor was killed in Iran or something, and then there was like riots against the United States embassy or something. So he kind of did a revenge or something to shock you, to make you know who's the boss, to kill Iranian general in Iraq. Well, he was on a peace mission, no less. So the Iranians was really mad and wanted to have retaliation and stuff. So that was the background story. The story is about me and my mother. So let me tell you how it spins on that. So my mother called me the next day after Donald Trump did that thing. So she was like, hey son, did you watch the I mean she speaks in Chinese. We speak in Chinese, of course, in my hometown language, hometown accent, no less. But I'm just translating her what she said. So she said, hey son, did you watch the news about the American Iran tension? I was like, sure. And she was like, because of that, I strongly suggest, that was her quote, strongly suggest that you shave your beard. Because, I mean, okay, I don't have a beard right now. I shaved this morning because it's my birthday. I want to do something, refreshing. I'm going to let it grow. You'll see in the next video. Okay, so she said, I strongly suggest that you shave your beard because your father looks like Saddam Hussein. Hold your laugh. Your father looks like Saddam Hussein when he has beard. Other people said that about him. So you look a lot like your father. And I'm afraid if you have a lot of beard on you, people on the streets are going to think you are a Middle Eastern and they're going to attack you. So that pissed me off, like a lot. All right? Because ever since I started to have, some mustache and beard since last August. Wait, no, December. The end of December, yeah. No, September, sorry. You have to forgive me. I'm not a native English speaker. I'm from China, actually. So I got words mixed up all the time. You might be wondering why you're doing videos like this in English instead of Chinese then. Well, I feel like when you're speaking in a foreign language, it's easier to express yourself, actually. Like, there's less emotional burden. It's like you're speaking someone else's language, so it's easier for you to tell the story in a third person perspective. Like I'm telling someone else's story. I don't really have to worry about how much it affects me, how much I was in it. Like it's. Let me give you an appropriate example. So how it's hard to say I love you, like in a relationship, but it's actually easy for me to say I love you instead of saying the Chinese version of that, like 我爱你. That was pretty hard for me, but it's easy to say I love you for some reason. So, okay, where was I? Okay, so I was really pissed at my mother's strongly suggestion that I should shave and beard, because ever since I started to have some beard since last September, she doesn't like it. It's a personal choice, and I was like literally tens of thousands of miles away from her, and she's like, I don't like your beard, just shave it, shave it, I don't care. And I did not listen to her because what the fuck are you gonna do, right? Come here and beat me? You can't even beat me. Like I'm like 5'11". I'm taller than you. I'm stronger than you. Okay, so finally, she used this. This is what I think. I mean, she argued that she's the only word for my safety, but I thought at the time, because she triggered me. I thought at the time she was like, shave your beard because I have another excuse now. You have to shave your beard. I was like, no. I was really offended for that, first of all, because it's a personal choice. She's trying to interfering it by this ridiculous excuse. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, she's so racist of thinking, oh, first of all Middle Easterns are beard person, and second of all, beard person will be, okay, I don't know if I actually look like Middle Eastern people, but maybe I do. I don't think I am. Nobody ever actually said to me like, oh, you look like a Middle Eastern person when you have beard. Not even my best friend. Because, so she thought Middle Eastern people are with beard, and anybody who's beard will be misrecognized as Middle Eastern people, and Middle Eastern people are all terrorists, and American people will recognize Middle Eastern people as terrorists, and American people will attack Middle Eastern people on the street because there's this tension between Iran and the United States. Can you see how ridiculous this logic chain is? I don't know, man. So I flipped out, and so I had a fight with my mother, said pretty horrible things. I said, okay, so I had a surgery last September. I had a cyst removed from my abdomen, at a pretty long incision on my belly. So my mom was really worried about that. She offered to come here to take care of me or have me go back to China to have the surgery, which is, nothing about it is something I should have done, because the medical bill here is ridiculously high, even though I have the insurance from NYU. Like, the surgery itself cost $80,000. $80,000? Are you fucking kidding me? And the amount I have to pay is like 10% of that, and there's like $30,000 that I don't have to pay anything. It's like totally deductible. So I end up have to pay like $5,000 in total. What the fuck are you talking about? $5,000? Who can have $5,000 cash in their bank account for someone my age? Like millennials do not have savings, right? So if I had went back to China to the surgery, the total cost would be probably something like that, $5,000, and then I'll have insurance there. So also, if I actually went back to China, I'm pretty sure my parents will pay my medical bill. Actually, they offered to pay me, pay my medical bill this time for me, but I declined. So anyway, my mother was saying, you refused to let me come here. You refused to go back home to do the surgery. You refused to pay let us pay your medical bills. I feel like you're getting away from us. Your heart is in a distant place or something like that. So I responded by saying, oh, look, of course you're going to be upset because I rely on you less. And my mother was like, what are you talking about? It's nonsense. Of course I want you to be stronger. I'll be happy for that. I was like, no. Okay, I was pretty dick. I was pretty much a dick for saying that. Okay, I said, no. You just want me to be a little boy and come cry to you asking for help every time I have some conundrum, and then you feel like you're still my mother. You can take care of me. Like, I said something like that, and she was really upset. I can feel her upset because we were chatting. The internet connection was not really good that day, so we didn't really video chat, which is what we usually do. So I should probably apologize to my mother. That's what I always do. I say something I regret over the phone, and I'm apologizing because I feel bad. I don't know if it's just me or anybody, but I feel like people at my age or at my phase of the life have their parents worry about them, but not actually helping. Like my mother worries about me, but she can't really help me on literally anything in my life. My my academic life, my social life, my relationship, which is non-existing at the time, but she worries about that too. My health and whatever. She worries about everything, but she can't help me on anything. And what often happens is that she expresses her worries, and to ease her worry, I have to pretend everything's fine. I have to put extra pressure on me because pretending is exhausting, as you could probably imagine. I have to do that to make her view, my son is okay, which is totally useless. Like, why would I have to spend? Maybe that's what grown-ups do, but right now I feel like, why do I have to spend extra energy on pretending I'm fine to my parents, the person I should have been able to trust the most on this planet, and make them feel good? And so, but on the other hand, makes me feel more pressured, like frustrating. Because if you can't help, just don't help. Don't worry all the time. Don't bring the subject to me. I mean, if you want to talk about the Iranian issue with America, let's talk about it. Like, there's so many to talk about. Actually, no, I don't really know much. But don't bring everything on me. Like, don't talk about everything as if I'm the center of the world. Maybe I am to you, but don't do that. It's gonna put extra pressure on me, and just I feel bad. Okay, so what happened was, oh my god, it's already 40 minutes. Okay, let's cap this on an hour, because I don't think even future me would have the patience to watch a 1 hour video of myself talking to a camera. And also, it's gonna be hard to upload. Okay, so what happened was, I think it's around last Christmas, which was like 2 weeks ago. I had a crush on a girl, and it's a complicated story. It's too much details to tell. But anyway, I said to her that I like her, and she rejected me, which is pretty normal for me. Happens, I wouldn't say all the time, but 4. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the 4th time. Wait, 5th time. 4. Let's make it 4. The other one doesn't really count. Okay. So I was pretty upset, as you can probably imagine, because if I'm not upset, I would be heartless. So I was in a bad mood those days, from Christmas to New Year's, and then a few days beyond that. I feel much better now, because actually what happens on New Year's Eve, a few of my friends from college, from the debate team, actually, I trained them. They came to New York City. They're in other grad schools in America, Boston and North Carolina or something. So we spent the New Year's Eve together, talking and then making jokes, chatting. So I felt much better after that. But before that, I had a really bad mood. And you know how it works when you're talking to your parents, even if you're feeling good or all right already, so you wouldn't really express that. I don't know why. You wouldn't really show your parents how good you're feeling. So my mother saw how frustrated I was, and she was worried. Like I said, always worried. So she wanted me to feel better. So what she did was to call me pretty much every day and wanted to see how I'm doing. And that translated into pressuring to me, because I feel like, oh, I'm such a bad son. I make my mother worry. And then the tension between my mother and I built up from there, and eventually exploded because my mother asked me to, strongly suggested to shave my beard, which actually I did. I did. All right, so where was I? Something else to talk about. There's something really silly. So, ever since my last birthday, which is when I was 24. Oh, by the way, so when I'm saying I'm 25, which means that, okay, today is January the 9th, 2020, and I was born on January the 9th, 1995, so 2020 minus 1995 is 25, so I'm 25 years old. That's how I calculate it. But in China, they actually have a different way of calculating how old you are. First of all, for example, I'm actually 26 now. In the first scenario of the Chinese counting ways I'm going to talk about, because their logic is, when you have spent 25 whole years on this planet, you've already exhausted those 25 years. So you're in your 26th year now, so you're 26. Like, instead of counting it as how many years you have spent on this planet, so you're how many years old, but it's which year you're on this planet right now. So it's the 26th year of my life on this planet. So I'm 26. So plus 1. And the other ones that have something called a fake age. It's like like 虚岁, how do you say that? Fake age? Void age? Let's go with fake age. I'm sure there are more official ways to translate these, but I'm just too lazy to Google that. Okay, so fake age is simply your age plus 1. Because God knows why they do that. They just do. So, for example, if you're 16 by America's ways of counting, then you're 17 automatically because you're on the 17th year of your life, and then plus 1 for fake age, so you're 18. So, if you happen to be a foreigner who doesn't know this rule, and you're reading some of the Chinese literature or something, and the people's age are going to be 2 years older than you think they are. Like, it says someone who's 18, but they're actually 16 at the time. I guess it wouldn't be a disaster for American people because you can actually drink when you're 19, because 19 is 21 is the legal age of drinking. Not that anybody would care about that, because I've never seen anyone who actually enjoys drinking and waited all the way till they're 21 to have their first drink. Nobody does that. Like, everybody just drank whenever they want. But, legally speaking, it's a good news for drinkers, which I'm not. I don't really drink. I probably drink like every few months, some beer. So, yeah, where was I? I was talking about the age. Oh, man, I digress so much. But that's the point of this video. Like, just jibber jabbers. What was I? 20. Oh, right, the birthday thing. So, yeah. So, ever since last year, my last birthday, I, like usual, go to the lab around noon, which is what I do. I'm not a morning person. Like, some people are morning persons. I respect that, but don't just go and say, oh, morning is the most important period of the day, and anybody who loses mornings are going to be like losers and stuff. It's not true. I mean, if I got up around 11, go to the lab, start working at 1, and then I finish working at 11 p.m., it's the same as going to the lab at 9 and stop working at 9. Like, what's the difference? It's the same amount of working time, and I just, people just have different biological clocks. So anyway, last year's birthday, last January 9th of 2019, oh my God, that sounds so right. Like, when I'm saying the year is 2019, it feels right. When I'm saying the year is 2020, it feels like the future, which is not. 2020 is the present, but it's only been 9 days of the new year, so I'm not entirely used to it. Anyway, so last year's birthday, I got to the lab and saw a birthday card on my desk. It says "Happy Birthday to you," which is my name. There's no, name of who's sending the card. So I was like, who is it? I mean, that's really nice, but I don't really know who to thank. I actually secretly thinking, well, maybe it's some, secret admirer, which is ridiculous. Now I know who that is. So I was happy about that. It's always nice to have people remember their birthday. I don't really remember anybody's birthday, not even my parents. Like, I know that they're okay. Oh my God, when are my parents' birthday? I know one of them is in May. The other is June. That's all I know. Oh my God, I'm such a horrible person. Okay, you know what? Next time when I'm calling my parents, which is I don't know when, because like we're kind of in a tension right now, I'm gonna ask their birthday and then write them up on my computer and stare at it every day until I remember. So back to my story. I didn't know who it was to send the birthday card to me. I wanted to thank him or her, but I don't know who to thank to. So this year, same card, like same writing, I can recognize that. On my desk was like, who is it? So I was talking to my friends I was having lunch with at noon, and I told them the story. I was like, oh, it's the new secretary in the department, Jennifer. She says that to everybody. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, why would I have a secret admirer? Who would do that to me? Right? But that's really nice. Like the old secretary of the department doesn't do that. I mean, I'm not saying she's a bad, officer just because she doesn't send every grad student birthday cards, but it's definitely nicer to have people send you birthday cards on your birthday. Like, yeah, it's nice to be remembered. Nice to have your birthday to be remembered. I had this crush on a girl since high school. Like, actually, she's one of my best friends. I told her I liked her last year, and it didn't work out. But I always remember her birthday, and I send happy birthday to her every year, but pretty much never got any congratulations on your birthday or happy birthday from her. Like, it bugs me a little. All right, so I emailed her about thanks for your card and thanks for your last year's card as well. I didn't know who it was last year, so thanks again. Okay, that was that. God, what else? What else can I talk about? Pretty much nothing. It's already 15 minutes. Let's save it for today because I don't want to make every video like an hour long. Because yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I hope nobody's watching this. Let's hope YouTube doesn't. If I actually upload this on YouTube, let's hope YouTube doesn't really go out of business in 50 years, so I can watch myself silly face and silly comments, silly thinkings when I'm 70, and have a laugh at it. Because what's the point of living if you don't have some kind of recordings? My mother told me a story about my pictures. The pictures you take when you're a kid, all the way when you grew up. It was stored in the basement of our apartment, and there was a flood last summer, I think, and it just overrun the basement, and the pictures were ruined. I was really mad. I was like, why do you put it in the basement? It's so valuable. It's something you cannot purchase because there was no digital storage at the time. The pictures actually pictures in a book, picture book. So I went home last January and then saw the book. It was actually completely ruined. All those pictures, all those memories were ruined. I was really sad about that. So I decided to record something of me when I'm still young. 25 is not really young. Like when I'm having dinner with a few undergrads in the lab whom I train and then help them do projects. They're like, "Oh, you're 24. You're so old." Age is a relative thing. Anyway, I wanted to have something of myself in the future and something to laugh at. I'll say whatever I want and hope. Yeah, that's it. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.